Anabolic Warfare Project Jacked, a way to inflame the muscle, but that's actually a good thing we're going to talk about today. If you're interested in growing and you want to try something a little bit different, keep watching. We're going to talk about this product and what it'll do for you. Now, Anabolic Warfare has been hitting a bunch of different supplement angles recently with their Project Muscle line. Anything from testosterone to arachidonic acid, even a diuretic in there. A lot of different avenues for getting jacked, getting cut, a whole bunch of stuff there that we're very excited about. And today we're going to be talking about arachidonic acid, an ingredient that actually inflames the muscle. It's pro-inflammatory. It's the opposite of what most people think that they should be doing, but there's a lot of reasons why it actually would work out for increasing hypertrophy and mass. So hold on with us. Today we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics, and I'm excited to get into something that's a little bit different today. So the first ingredient on here is going to be creatine hydrochloride. And there's probably no supplement on the market that is studied as hard as this one is. Now, they only gave us a gram of creatine hydrochloride, and there have been years of information back and forth on whether or not you can use less of these more stable creatine versions here. This would be adding to your already big dosage of creatine. You should be getting 5 grams of creatine a day. This is definitely adding in here, and you're going to actually get some nootropic benefits. I will say here, by taking a dosage of this, creatine does have a acute nootropic benefit, but in terms of dosages of creatine, I do recommend that you add on more. Creatine monohydrate is rather inexpensive still, even with the price hike with supply chain issues. Grab some more, add it on here, but remember, you're getting a whole gram of it in here in capsules, so be happy about that. Creatine, I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but it is one of the most backed ingredients of all time. It's absolutely important if you're trying to get bigger. Just take it every single day and forget about it. What you really are here for is to learn about arachidonic acid, the second ingredient here, 500 milligrams of it. This is actually an omega-6 fatty acid, and if you watch a lot of Mike's content, he tells you not to take this kind of stuff because it's inflammatory. But today, if you're trying to get jacked, watch this video and learn about how it's going to help out. Some inflammation is absolutely bad, right? Specifically, chronic, unremitting inflammation is definitely bad, but acute inflammation is actually a naturalistic response to stimuli. It's warranted, right? Exercise is a great example. We have a inflammatory response to training, right? We're breaking down muscle and then we need to rebuild it back up. In fact, inflammation is so important for gaining muscle that the use of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, like ibuprofen and stuff like that, around the time of training can actually impair the growth of muscle. Last year when I was at the ISSN's big presentation of all their data, actually the Army was there presenting data on this, showing that if you are looking for literally any amount of hypertrophy, you should not be touching any amount of NSAIDs. So clearly we don't want to get rid of all inflammation, but we need to introduce some. How much is right? As with many things in life, we should strive for a happy medium between too little and too much. So let's talk about this here. Arachidonic acid mechanism of action. ARA, I'll call it for this video, it helps produce eicosanoids. I've never said that one out loud before. A group of signaling molecules that include prostaglandins. These are actually the primary target of NSAIDs, thromboxanes, lipoxanes, and leukotrienes. I don't say this stuff out loud very often. I mostly spend my time reading it, so apologies for not being able to produce everything correctly. Now, the category that we care most about here is going to be the prostaglandins. The prostaglandins PGE2 and PGF2 are necessary for muscle protein synthesis to occur in the first place in response to exercise. So to maximize hypertrophy, we want these two to be as high as possible. Now, people who take ARA as part of a weightlifting program can significantly increase the expression of these two things. That's going to lead to an increased amount of muscle protein synthesis. This actually leads to bigger muscles as a whole, right? What we're looking for here. Effectively, ARA is a kind of a clever trick to cause your body to produce more hypertrophy in response to the same amount of training and dieting. I would say here, if you take fish oil, NSAIDs, curcumin, anything like that, aspirin, don't take it near this supplement. It's going to kind of counteract it. It's going to kind of counteract what you want to happen here. Take those things in the morning, later at night. This should be taken near your workout so that you can pro-inflame all that stuff. Now, what I like is they add in some other stuff here that's going to help out with the benefits of what this is doing here. You're going to take this pre-workout and it's going to cause you to inflame more. But they also give you some other things here that are going to help increase production in the gym of maybe strength or power output, or help you with training overall. So one that they do here that can fit into a capsule, and remember, that's kind of a hurdle for a lot of these formulas is fitting stuff into a capsule, is Elevate TP at 150 milligrams. So this is going to be a trademarked mixture of extracts from peat moss and apples, and it's going to increase extracellular ATP levels, which we know from our discussion of creatine before is crucial for optimizing a lot of metabolic processes and producing power for training. Now, we deplete ATP from training. That's one of the reasons we take creatine, but raising ATP levels through supplementation here can kind of theoretically blunt some of the negative effects associated with exercise. There was one study in 2016 that found that supplementation with 150 milligrams, exactly what's in here, for 8 weeks increased subjects 1 rep max of squat and deadlift compared to a placebo control. There were also increases in vertical jump velocity and power. There's also marrow root extract in here, which is going to be a rich source of phytoectosteroids, which are kind of similar to testosterone. Now, I have a whole video on phytoectosteroids, ectosteroids, terkestrone, all that stuff actually on this line. If you want to go watch that, it's called Project Hulk. I talk about terkestrone a whole bunch there, phytoectosteroids, a whole bunch of that. In specific, this one here is standardized for 20-hydroxyectosterone, also known as ectosterone. I got really into all the data in that video. We've done a really deep dive there. A lot of editing went to that video, so I'm not going to go too wild on that here. If you want to watch that, I would recommend you go there. That said, one in vivo study found that ectosterones increased subjects' muscle mass by about 7% compared to placebo, while decreasing fat by a significant 10%. In vitro studies conducted on animal cells have found that ectosterone is capable of increasing diameter of rats' muscle fibers significantly. Another human study in collegiate weightlifters found that ectosterone supplementation significantly increased their muscle and strength gains compared to a placebo. There's a lot of benefits here. We're big fans of it. We're here for it. Now, after that, we have nettle root extract. This is actually helpful for a lot of different things. I can get into this with a whole bunch of different discussions. Today, we're going to be talking about training and testosterone levels. You got 100 milligrams of it here. This is from the Urtica family, commonly known as just nettle. This has been used in thousands of years of traditional medicine as an anti-inflammatory. Among its uses, preparations of this Urtica family have been shown to act as 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, which is going to help get rid of excess estrogen, especially the bad estrogen. It's going to prevent the conversion of testosterone to DHT, which can help prevent hair loss, which didn't work for me. But this is going to help keep total testosterone levels higher while simultaneously reducing some of the negative effects of high DHT, like prostate enlargement and estrogen. The other nice thing about it is that they have been shown to lower the affinity of binding of human sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG. Now, if you watch our podcast with Dr. Cam Seppa, we talk about SHBG being one of the leading reasons why men have such low free testosterone. You can have a lot of total testosterone, but if you have low free testosterone, it's likely due to SHBG. So this has a benefit there as well. After there, we've got DHEA at 100 milligrams. Now, DHEA is important for a lot of growing men, kind of older men as well, especially. This is kind of a heavy hitter testosterone increasing formula. Definitely deserves a lot of glory here. It is a precursor to testosterone and estrogen. A lot of researchers have kind of dubbed it the fountain of youth, because that's actually because it regulates the synthesis and action of cortisol, which is our main stress hormone. So not only does it increase testosterone and estrogen in fair amounts, don't worry about too much estrogen there, it's also going to make sure that your cortisol stays low. Overall, I actually use it as a big part of my TRT protocol. I think it helps me out a lot. From there, we have 7-keto DHEA, which has a lot of the benefits of DHEA itself. At 50 milligrams here, though, it also really helps out with metabolic rate. It seems to do that by regulating cortisol, kind of similar to just normal DHEA. And lastly, of course, BioPerine. BioPerine is included in a lot of capsule products to help up the absorption and utilization of ingredients. There's no data on these specific ingredients in here. That being said, piperine actually increases GLUT4, which is helpful because it moves glucose from the bloodstream into muscle tissue. So there's actually a benefit there in the mechanism. We haven't actually seen it in studies for BioPerine, but it is worth noting. Overall, I hope this was helpful and educational. This is one part of a much larger line of muscle builders. I'm actually a big fan of these for people who are not interested in going the TRT route or maybe an enclomiphene route. Something's going to really help with boosting performance. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I should add in, I got this bottle for free. We do have an affiliate relationship with Anabolic Warfare, but I hope that this was educational and informative in a way that you could have learned something from it and put it into your own protocol. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.